Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because you want the smart take, fast, on what really matters. Forget the endless scrolling, we've done the digging for you. Today we're cracking open something pretty crucial if you're spending any money on Google Ads. It's about how supercharging it with Google Analytics 4, GA4, lets you laser focus on your highest value customers.
Exactly. We've sort of sifted through a ton of information to bring you the absolute core insights, the stuff that will genuinely move the needle on your ad performance. Our mission today isn't just the how-to, although we'll cover that. It's really to show why this integration is, so powerful. And we're using a great real-world example to bring it all to life.
Yeah, that story comes from unlockyourchakra.com. Now, this isn't your average online shop. They specialize in handmade crystal jewelry. Think folks interested in energy healing, meditation, that kind of mindful stuff. And their ideal buyer, not just someone grabbing one bracelet, right? It's someone investing in those curated gift bundles, maybe a pricier gemstone set. And importantly, they keep coming back. They really engage with the content too.
Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is that unlockyourchakra.com, a lot of businesses, figured out that not all customers are, equal in value. By truly getting who their most valuable people are, those repeat buyers, the ones with higher average orders, they could use this GA4 and Google Ads link for some incredibly precise targeting. It stops being just about getting more customers and starts being about connecting with the right ones.
And that's the key takeaway for everyone listening, isn't it? In this, let's face it, sometimes chaotic world of online ads, it's so easy to feel like you're just throwing money into the wind. But really understanding how to pinpoint and nurture those high-value relationships, that means your ad spend becomes like a strategic investment. It fuels real growth instead of just vanishing. Okay, so let's get into the core of it. In today's data-driven world, why is the specific integration between Google Ads and GA4 just so much more impactful now for building targeted ad strategies?
Well, if you take a step back, we're in this era where the sheer amount and frankly, the sophistication of data has totally changed the marketing game. It's just not enough anymore to have a broad appeal. Consumers expect and honestly respond way better to personalized experiences. So Google Ads gives you that massive reach, right, to connect with potential customers. But GA4, that's your intelligence hub. It gives you these deep insights into what people are actually doing, their behaviors, their preferences. When you hook these two powerhouses together, you're not just placing ads anymore. You're delivering really relevant messages to the right people based on their actual journey with your brand, that kind of precision. We just couldn't do that easily before.
Right. It's moving beyond those vanity metrics like just clicks and focusing on attracting and converting people who are way more likely to become those loyal, high-spending advocates you mentioned. Okay, so let's dig a bit deeper there. What exactly defines a high-value customer in this context? And how does this integration really let us, find them in all our data?
That's a really crucial question, and the definition. It goes beyond just that first sale. A truly high-value customer, they often show a pattern, right? They buy more frequently, their average order value is, significantly higher, and they tend to show a deeper connection, more loyalty over time. The real power of linking GA4 and Google Ads is how it shines a light on these patterns. GA4 tracks pretty meticulously how users interact, the content they read, products they look at, the steps towards actually buying. By feeding all that rich behavioral data into Google Ads, you can then build these super specific audience segments. And importantly, use smart bidding strategies that actually prioritize finding and converting these valuable user types.
Okay, that paints a much clearer picture. It's like having this really sophisticated understanding of who your best fans are, not just who happen to buy something once. All right, let's get practical. What are the first, concrete steps someone needs to take to get GA4 and Google Ads talking to each other effectively for this kind of targeting?
Right. The absolute first step, the foundation for this whole thing, is just making sure GA4 and your Google Ads account are properly linked up. It might sound basic, but this connection, it's the pipeline for all the valuable data sharing that comes next. So inside your GA4 property, you navigate to the admin section.
Okay, admin.
Yep. Then click on product links and finally select Google Ads. There, you kick off the linking process, choose your specific Google Ads account. And here's a key bit. Make absolutely sure you enable the personalized advertising setting. That's what allows the user behavior data from GA4 with user consent, obviously, to actually be used for creating those tailored ad experiences in Google Ads. Think of it like opening the comms channel between your analytics insights and your ad actions.
Got it. So step one, make the link, turn on personalized advertising. Crucial. What's the next essential piece then?
Okay, once that link is live, the next critical step is to really define what high-value interaction means for your specific business. And then make sure you're accurately tracking these actions as events inside GA4. Remember, GA4's event-based tracking is super flexible. For a business like unlockyourchakra.com, like we mentioned, core events would obviously be things like add to cart, begin checkout, and definitely purchase. But you can get smarter. You can define custom metrics, for instance, tracking revenue per user and setting a threshold. Maybe anyone who spends over $150 total lets you automatically flag users showing real purchasing power. By carefully tracking these specific high-value events, you start filtering out the casual browsers and really zeroing in on users acting like your ideal customers.
So it's not just tracking if someone buys, but digging into what they buy, how much they spend, maybe even how often they do those high-value things. That makes total sense. Okay, now you're capturing these crucial signals. How do you actually group these people into segments you can, actually target with ads?
Right, this is where GA4's audience building really shines. Back in the admin section, navigate over to audiences. Here, you can create new audiences. And the trick for this strategy is choosing custom audience. This lets you set specific conditions based on all that rich event data you've been collecting. So for example, you could build a segment of users who, say, generated over $150 in revenue in the last month. Or maybe they spent more than 3 minutes on your site in one go, showing they're really engaged. Or perhaps completed a purchase within the last 30 days. The beauty is the granularity. You can refine these even further demographics, traffic source, maybe the device they used. It lets you sculpt a really precise picture of that ideal customer.
Can you give us a quick, concrete example? Like, how might unlockyourchakra.com have set up one of these custom audiences?
Yeah, the source material gives a good illustration. Unlockyourchakra.com probably built a segment, something like this. Users who spent over, say, $150 within the last 30 days, and they came from either organic search or a Google ad, and they had completed at least 2 separate purchases. See? That's a highly qualified segment. It represents people with a proven track record of both interest and spending with their brand.
Okay, crystal clear. So you've built this awesome segment in GA4. Now, how do you get it over to Google Ads so your campaigns can actually use it?
Good question. The next step is pretty seamless, actually. You import these audiences from GA4 right into Google Ads. So inside GA4, in the audiences section, you find that high-value segment you just made. Click on it, and then under Actions, there's an option like Share with Ads or similar wording. Then, just to be sure, pop over to your Google Ads account, go to Tools and Settings, then Shared Library, and find the Audience Manager. Your GA4 audience should now be listed there, ready to go, and you can use it across Google's platforms, Search, Display, YouTube, and those Performance Max campaigns too.
Performance Max. Hearing a lot about those, especially for e-commerce. How do they fit into this whole high-value customer targeting thing?
Performance Max campaigns, or PMax, they're a pretty big shift for e-commerce. They basically use Google's machine learning to show your ads across all of Google's inventory, search, display, YouTube, Gmail, Discover, you name it. And it's all driven by the conversion goals you set. Now, when you set up a PMax campaign, you get this crucial option to add your high-value GA4 audience as an audience signal. It's important to understand PMax won't only target this group. That's not the point. Instead, it uses the data from this segment as a powerful guide, right? It informs the machine learning to go find other users across Google who act similarly online and are also really likely to convert at a high value.
Okay. So it's like saying, hey, Google AI, look at these amazing customers. Now go find me more people just like them.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And for your, let's say, more traditional display and discovery campaigns, there's also a feature called optimized targeting. This also lets Google's algorithms intelligently look beyond your initial audience settings. It identifies people who show similar characteristics and online behaviors to your high-value segment, even if they weren't in that original GA4 list. It's all about finding those lookalikes who have a high chance of converting well.
Okay, so we're finding the right people, reaching them effectively. How do we make sure our bidding strategy lines up? We want high-value conversions, not just any conversion.
Spot on. Your bidding strategy is key here. Instead of just going for volume, like maximize conversions, you want to prioritize the conversions that bring in the most money. So within your Google Ads campaign settings, you select the maximize conversion value bidding strategy. Now, assuming you've set up conversion values correctly in GA4, like giving a higher value to that big gemstone set compared to a cheap bracelet, Google's bidding algorithms will then automatically prioritize bids that are most likely to lead to those higher value sales. A source material specifically mentioned this, helped unlockyourchakra.com focus on getting customers buying their expensive bundles rather than just the $30 items.
That makes perfect strategic sense. You're telling Google, go after the big fish.
Yeah.
Now, what about geography? Does the physical location of these high-value customers matter? Can we refine targeting that way too?
Oh, absolutely. Layering in geo-targeting can be a really smart move for optimizing your spend and boosting ROI. Unlockyourchakra.com, for instance, they looked at their GA4 data and found something interesting. A huge chunk of their biggest spenders were clustered in specific places: California, New York, Texas, places like that. So, by focusing their ad targeting more heavily on these high-performing areas, they probably got better results without even spending more money overall. And you can take it further. You can use bid adjustments by location, bid a bit higher in those key areas where you know your best customers are.
That's clever. Avoid wasting ad dollars where your ideal customer just isn't likely to be.
Okay, you mentioned earlier that similar audiences as we knew it is kind of going away. How do we keep finding new potential customers who look like our existing high-value ones? Yeah, you're right. The classic similar audiences feature has, let's say, evolved. But Google still gives us really strong tools for expanding reach to users who act like your best customers. That optimized targeting we talked about, that's a big part of it now. Plus, for search and display, there's audience expansion. These tools use Google's massive understanding of user behavior, what people search for, what sites they visit, past interactions to find new users who show a strong likelihood of being interested in your stuff. They basically mirror the engagement patterns of your best customers. So the name changed, but the goal, finding more people like your top customers, that capability is definitely still there, arguably even smarter now.
Okay, great. So we're constantly finding and targeting the high-value folks and also finding new lookalikes. Is that the end of the road? Set it, forget it.
Definitely not. This isn't a one-time setup. It needs ongoing attention, constant refinement. Continuous analysis in GA4 is absolutely critical. The Explore section in GA4, that's your best friend here. You can build custom reports to get way deeper insights into how your high-value segments are behaving. Like, how often do they actually come back for repeat purchases? Which traffic sources are bringing in the most valuable users? Not just any users, the valuable ones. Do conversion rates look different on mobile versus desktop for this group? The source mentioned, unlockyourchakra.com, used this kind of analysis to A/B test their ad creative. They tested emotional storytelling ads against more product-focused ones. And guess what? They found the storytelling stuff resonated way more strongly with their repeat buyers. That's a huge insight.
Wow, okay, so it really is a continuous loop. Identify, target, analyze, and then tweak the strategy based on what you learn. It's dynamic.
Exactly right. The core idea, the main takeaway, is that by smartly combining GA4's deep audience intelligence with Google Ads' huge reach and targeting tools, you can build these highly customized audiences. And these aren't just audiences that convert, they're audiences that demonstrably boost your overall revenue per customer. The basic steps are: clearly define high value for your business, meticulously track the behaviors that signal that value, and then build campaigns that specifically target those users and others who look like they have similar potential.
And for unlockyourchakra.com, what were the actual results? What benefits did they see from doing all this?
Well, the source indicates they saw stronger engagement with their ads, which makes sense. They also achieved much more efficient ad spend, basically. Less money wasted on clicks that weren't going anywhere valuable. And maybe most importantly, they gained a significantly deeper understanding of who their best customers really were, their attributes, their behaviors. And that kind of deep knowledge, it doesn't just help advertising. It can inform everything from product development to customer service.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the journey. We talked about linking GA4 and Google Ads, super important. Tracking those key high-value events, not just any event. Building those granular audience segments in GA4. Getting those segments smoothly into Google Ads. Using tools like PMax signals and optimized targeting smartly. Shifting to value-based bidding, like maximize conversion value. Considering geo-targeting for extra efficiency. Understanding the new ways to find similar audiences, like expansion and optimized targeting. And crucially, that ongoing cycle of analysis and refinement. It really sounds like a complete roadmap for focusing on the customers who truly drive business value.
It absolutely is. And ultimately, this whole integrated approach lets businesses move past just casting a wide net. It allows for a much more intelligent, data-driven strategy. By really focusing on understanding and engaging those highest value customers, the result is usually more sustainable, more profitable growth.
So, for you listening, as you think about your own business or maybe businesses you work with, here's a thought to chew on. How are you currently defining your high-value customers? like really defining them. What specific data points might you already have access to, maybe sitting right there in your analytics, that could unlock deeper insights into this really vital group? Just taking the time to properly define, understand, and then target these folks, it could honestly be a game changer for your ad results.
Yeah, and if you find that actually implementing all these steps feels a bit daunting or needs more specialized know-how, our source did mention AdExpert as a potential resource. Apparently, they specialize in helping e-commerce brands, just like unlockyoursucker.com, get the advanced GA4 tracking set up right, define those critical audience segments, and launch effective PMax campaigns. It's just, something to keep in mind if you feel like you need that extra bit of support to really nail this into crushing.
But whether you work with specialists or tackle this yourself, the core message is pretty clear, isn't it? By strategically using the combined power of Google Ads and GA4, you get the tools to not only find and target your best customers, but also to understand them better, serve them better, and ultimately drive stronger, more sustainable growth with much smarter ad spending. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.